So basically my name's Alison and this is my boss Reg and we're from East Ayrshire Woodlands. What we're going to do, we've got some cherry trees today to plant. These cherries, there's lots of different ones, but there's ones that come from this country that are called native. And does anyone know what native means? Yep. It kind of is, so it's like they come from here. So they come from here, so they kind of, we get certain trees that will come from here, and these are native, this is a native woodland. So these are cherry trees and they're called wild cherry trees. Birds love them, nature loves them, and I don't know if you're aware, but it was World Biodiversity Day on Monday.
No.
Did you not know that?
No.
So does anyone know what biodiversity means? Well, I'll tell you then quickly. So biodiversity means, so it's the way everything fits in and everything works in harmony together. So every living thing has its place. We're included in that, and we all fit into the bigger picture. The birds that you can hear singing, the trees, the grass, teeny wee insects that we can't even see. All that makes up for this biodiversity, which gives us this healthy kind of ecosystems. And that's why if one thing falls out of it, it can kind of get messed up a little bit. So you've all heard about climate change and all these things going on, how trees are so important for that. So cherry's really important. Wild cherry's really important for biodiversity because loads of insects love it because you've got all the lovely blossoms. So the bees love it, so they can pollinate it and they'll take the nectar from it. Lots of moths, badgers. We've got two types of mice that will use it and they'll eat the cherries from it. So see what that tree's doing? It's like creating that little kind of shop basically, isn't it, for all these animals to come and feed on for free. Moths and all these things. And also the birds will carry the seed and then they'll fly away and then what will happen? But what do we all do? What's happening here? That's it. So they'll poo, right? And they'll poo the cherry seed out and these seeds will perhaps go into another tree to see how the birds play their part. And then a tree will grow. Lots of countries around the world, this is their like a really symbolic tree, especially like Asian countries like China and Japan. They really hold cherry blossoms in high regard and they see them as really, really wise trees. And they see them as a symbol of strength and a symbol of hope because the blossoms don't last for long. So sometimes something really beautiful doesn't last for long, but it's there and you've seen that. So in different cultures around the world. And there was one cherry tree that grew within a tiny little crack of a rock. So a bird came along and dropped this seed in a rock. And do you know, the tree got bigger and bigger and bigger. Do you know what happened to the rock?
It
split open, and this is a real tree. Maybe you can research that when you go back. And it's this really sacred tree in Japan. So this rock split with this big cherry tree growing up through the middle. The Japanese people are like that. They worship this tree because it's such a great noble tree. They put these ropes around these trees so everybody knows that these are really special sacred trees. So we're doing a really special thing today. We're going to plant these trees, and that's a really big deal. So what we're going to do today, basically, in a minute, Reg is going to show us what we're doing, how to plant a tree properly. We really shouldn't be planting trees in the summer. It's just circumstances, we've not had any time to do this, so we're planting them in this season. Usually you plant trees when there's no leaves on them, which is called dormancy. Alright, so the trees are kind of sleeping and then it's a little bit safer, but I'm sure we've watered the trees, the roots are ready to go in the ground, I'm sure they'll be fine. Yeah.
We're using them?
We're going to use them, Reg is going to show us. That's brilliant, yeah.
So foxes don't eat them?
Foxes, what other animals do you think might want to eat them? Yeah, rabbits, mice. Deer, and I think it'll be alright for them to, when the cherries come. People, so it's good protection for them, gives them a good restart in life. So that was a really good question, I forgot to mention that.
Right, now you've probably seen that we've been in here tree felling and wood chipping. I don't know if you've noticed that the last time. Yes, it was, yes. What do you think the reason is for felling those trees?
Give the trees space.
We can give the trees space.
Keep them healthy.
Keep them healthy, yes.
Get new ones.
And yes, absolutely. But the main reason in this particular woodland, you'll probably just see the ash dieback. That's an ash tree. Have you heard about ash dieback?
No.
Okay, now that it's a wind-borne fungus which kind of spreads in from the west coast, and you can see that the top of that ash tree will then start to die back, and it dies back from the top. So we've decided to take a lot of, so you'll see a lot of the tree stumps that you'll see was from ash dieback. So we've decided to take them out, open the area up, and then put a variety of trees in here. So where you see the cane, we'll be putting the cherries in, and then we'll come back later, perhaps November, December, and plant some more, a greater variety of trees. Now what kind of level do you think we want to be putting that tree in? Do you want to bury it, or do you want it out? Out?
Bury the pot that keeps the plant in.
That's gonna be your level there. See, the problem is if you bury it, that'll rot your bark and the tree will die. So always try and do that at the level in which it's grown from the nursery. Okay. Now you can see probably existing tree roots from stumps here. Must have just been potted.
The trees we're going to be planting, guys, I've got lots and lots and lots of roots. They've got more roots than the tree Reg is planting. So it's just really important that we get all them roots in.
So just as I said before, just try and get it to that level. Try not to bury it, but it's mostly important that you've got to bury the roots so they don't dry out. Any exposed roots is just going to kind of dry out. All right. Now, the best thing to avoid when you're pressing the soil down, never heel. It's always the front of your foot, and it's just a light press. So what are we really doing here is pushing the air out of the soil so the roots don't dry. Any kind of heel that's too much pressure, you'll end up breaking the roots. Quite simple, isn't it? All right. So, tree stake. We'll put the tree stake in. Now, Alison asked you about the tree shelter. Why do we use a tree shelter? I think you said it was protection, didn't you? So protection against?
Animals come in the wild.
So we've got voles. Have you got any rabbits in here?
Foxes, deers. Maybe a pheasant because there's no there.
Is there? Yeah, maybe not a pheasant. But also the kind of weather as well, the Scottish West Coast weather. All right. Basically, the small tree shelter is a greenhouse. It just promotes a bit of growth. It keeps warm inside of there during the winter months. All right. So any idea how much of a cost between that tree is?
£50.
No. Any? You're very close. £3. Generally £3. That. So you can see just outside Muirkirk they've used a lot of tree shelters. So you add all that up, it's quite expensive, isn't it? Alright. So you'll see the ratchet ties, alright? Who's making all that noise? Yeah, they always like that, right? Right, so just be careful when you're with the branches, all right?
I think Reg will do.
fiddly.
I think we'll help you guys with that. I think we'll concentrate on planting the trees in, and then we can perhaps go around if we've got time with the help of you guys and get the shelters and stuff on.
So just try and what you try and do is just push it down a wee bit, all right? Because what you don't want the wee voles. They're just wee mice. Wee mice will crawl in underneath and they'll start nibbling away at the bark of the tree and nibbling all the way around, and the tree will die. So it's good to close that off. And it's a wee bit fiddly with the tree ties. Just bring that right to the corner on both of them, like that. These tree ties are quite handy because you can take that off. All right. There you are. Tree number 1. How many more to go? 20.
Now, do you think them roots are going to fit in there, John? Nice. Yeah. So someone holds it because we don't want to scratch the bark and someone's taking it from the ground. Remember, we want all the roots to go in. Remember what Reg said? Why do we need the roots to go in? Well, when the roots are in the soil, it's sucking in the
And that's still good and I never needed help. Well, I might try it if I go like this. Oh, I'm going to easy like that one.
No, it's okay. Put it your butt. Quite positive. Are you happy with this?
Oh, you got that one. What are you holding? You didn't get How long would it take for the trees to grow it off?
How old do you think these are?
5 feet or 30
But you don't always see the fruit of your labour.
No, no, you don't.
You know.
But as the saying goes, you plant a tree for somebody else's shade. I think it was John Muir, possibly. Don't quote me on that.
Where?